The number one reason most people fail at learning Japanese is because they don't study. Duh. But the reason they don't study is because it's too much effort and not enough progress. That's where I come in. Hi, I'm Josen. I passed the JLPT N2 while in the US, can enjoy native materials, and I can smoothly navigate life in Japan. Today, I'm gonna show you how to learn Japanese so fast it feels illegal. The secret? It's not about studying. It's about making the process feel effortless. Stick around and I'll break it down into 8 key tips. Let's set the right expectations. Learning Japanese will take time and effort. There's no magic shortcut to fluency, but that doesn't mean it has to be hard or boring. I'll show you what I mean, but first my roadmap to fluency. You'll start with hiragana and katakana, the building blocks of the language. You can learn them in a week or two if you're consistent. Once you got those down, you can move on to kanji, but that's only if it aligns with your goals. More on that later. Yes, kanji can be intimidating at first, but trust me, soon it'll be easier than hitting that subscribe button. But most crucial is your foundation, which consists of learning basic vocab and grammar. Some people will just tell you to immerse yourself in Japanese and let the language come to you. And while immersion is important, every fluent non-native speaker, including myself, built a foundation first. It's non-negotiable. Only then should you have immersion as your main form of study. Now that that's covered, we're ready to dive into the methods that you can use to learn Japanese so fast it feels illegal. Your mindset is everything, so start managing your expectations. If you start a study session by telling yourself, this is gonna take forever, then it will. But if you say this is going to be quick and easy, you'll approach studying with a much more positive attitude. Change your perception and you'll change the way you act. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to do everything all at once. That's where the 80-20 rule comes in. It states that 80% of your gains come from 20% of inputs. So focus on the 20% of study methods that get you 80% of your results. For example, if you only had 2 hours a week to study Japanese, how would you spend it? Well, you'd prioritize your weak points and the most important content. Remember, time spent studying does not directly equal knowledge gain. Be strategic. If you want to watch anime, use anime as your main study materials. Pause, repeat, and learn from it. Bonus points if you rewatch after making flashcards from the material. If you want to read manga, study through manga. Look up words you don't know. If you want to pass the JLPT, focus on grammar study, textbooks, and practice tests. And don't be afraid to engage with content that's slightly above your level. If you understand 80 to 90% of words, you're right in that sweet spot for learning. Now, an effect to compound those gains. Work expands to fill the time available. Parkinson's law. So when you're studying, put a timer on. Whether it's 20 minutes or an hour, this will help you get more done in less time. When you know you've only got 30 minutes to study, you're much less likely to check your phone or distract yourself. Plus, breaking your study sessions into timed intervals can make even the most tedious of tasks feel manageable. You'd be surprised how much faster you can complete a task with an eye on the clock. Set a timer, dive in, and see how much you'll start to crush it. Getting work done fast isn't worth anything if you don't start. So keep this in mind. Tasks are easier to complete when they're left unfinished. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Like opening your Anki app and doing just one flashcard. See how you're more naturally compelled to keep going. And you can double down on this effect. Set up your study space beforehand. Take out your textbook. Grab a glass of water, tidy your desk, or open your app. Just starting the setup process can motivate you to dive into the actual study session. So trick yourself into starting and let your brain handle the rest. Before you know it, you'll have smashed your study goals for the day. Testing yourself is the best way to retain information. That's why apps like Anki are so powerful. By constantly recalling what you've learned, you strengthen that memory and make it easier to recall later. But don't stop at flashcards, test yourself in real-world scenarios. Try writing sentences with new grammar points. Watch a clip from your favorite anime and see how much you can understand without subtitles. The more you actively engage with the material, the deeper it'll stick. Remember, passive learning is helpful, but active learning is what locks everything in place. And none of that matters if you give up from the grind. Except studying doesn't have to be a grind. Try adding treats into your routine. For example, try an anime doro where you study for 30 to 45 minutes and treat yourself to a 20-minute episode of anime, preferably without English subtitles. This way, even your breaks become part of your learning. Or you can gamify your progress by setting mini goals and celebrating your wins. Finish a tough grammar chapter? Treat yourself to a snack. Nailed a kanji you've been struggling with? Blast your favorite song. When studying feels fun, it stops being a chore and becomes something you actually look forward to. And to truly turbocharge your learning, use Genius Time. Studies suggest our brains process new information better at different times during the day. See, language learning is often more effective at night, so experiment with studying in the evening to see if that helps you lock in the material more effectively. Your Genius Time might not be the same as mine or anyone else's. Maybe you're a morning person, or maybe your brain works best in the middle of the afternoon. Pay attention to when you feel most focused and energized, and plan your hardest study sessions around those times. It's all about finding what works best for you. And you can finally become fluent when you adopt a championship mentality. Meaning, you don't need to beat every little goal to succeed in the long run. It's okay if you don't finish that Anki deck. It's okay if you don't finish every episode of that show. Forget about whatever loss you've taken and focus on the big picture. What's most effective for you? Find that and move forward. Think about it like training for a sport. You don't need to win every practice game to be a champion. The key is consistent effort over time. Some days you'll crush it, and others you won't. That's okay. The important thing is to keep showing up and putting in the work. You've got this.